Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Welcome to episode 40 of the Legacy Knits podcast. My name is Chelsea.
My name is Sue.
I'm the daughter.
I'm the mother.
And fun fact that we discovered last night when we originally tried recording this video, and it didn't work. It is actually the year anniversary of this podcast, which I think is very exciting.
It's unbelievable to think that there's 40 of them and there's 52 weeks in a year. We did pretty darn good. Now, guaranteed, you were probably the first 4 or 5?
Oh, 3.
3, okay.
Yeah. But look at us now. It's so crazy how much can happen in a year's time. It's just kind of, it never feels like a lot is happening in the day to day or the month to month. But then when you hit these milestones and look back, it's like, oh my gosh.
What we accomplished in this year when we had no intention of accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
But throw up some podcasts, become part of this community,
have some fun.
Learn from others, enjoy other interactions. We really had no
We had no agenda.
Yeah. But it for me, you know what that speaks to is just what I'm finding now in my life is I'm not a big planner. I'm putting one foot in front of the other and seeing where it leads. And if it's leading in a good direction, continue that. And it's very interesting. And I'm so mad it took me so long to get that piece.
I think that's pretty normal, though.
Probably, but it is that just go with the flow and see what happens. And we had no idea.
No. And with this venture specifically, I think we both had to be in the right place at the right time to be able to do it, you know?
I agree. It's honestly, that is the most exciting piece of you being with us for that year and a half, you and Justin, because I feel like we found this during that. I mean, there was a lot of other really good things that came of it, but I think this was right up there.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally. So yeah, that's just a fun little fact about the podcast. Oh, I'm going to say this at the right time, this recording attempt. To anybody that's coming back and watching as a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And for anybody that's brand new, welcome. We hope you enjoy it, but if you don't, certainly just move on. And there are plenty of other podcasts that can keep you company.
I'm loving that. Again, last night I sat and knit through our whole podcast, which I've never done before. I think I'm so craving knitting, and since I was gone all morning and I woke up with a bolt and had to be out the door, this is heaven.
Oh, it's so nice. It's just like having a knitting get together, but just sharing it with all of our peeps.
I agree.
Kind of cool. So are you wearing a cowl around your neck?
I am wearing, hold on, the hard part is I got to put down my knitting now, and I didn't want to stop. I believe it's really old. I made it when I was at the yarn shop. We were all making them. I believe it's called the Willow Cowl. Don't quote me. I think it is. I want to say it was, when I worked on it, it was either free or like $1 on Ravelry. I was actually going to teach a class on it because of the way it started, and now I don't even know the right terminology, but I can't even remember, but it folds on itself. You create this little like almost picot look, and then you fold it down and knit this piece together and then keep knitting. Gosh, there's perfect terminology for that, and I'm totally losing it.
If anybody knows what it is, put it in the comments below.
Yeah, it's roll. Maybe no.
So you were going to teach a class for the starting portion of it?
For the whole thing, because there's also I think there's yarn overs. It's a really good like beginning lace. It's a simple pattern as far as, I shouldn't say that, not simple, but it's It's a good one to learn yarn overs and lace work because there's a section of that really not reading well because it's so dark. And I would take it off, but it will muss up my hair.
You don't want that.
I don't want that. Anyways, I used a Zauber ball on it.
Gonna ask.
Yeah, and I used a Zauber ball on another thing I've shown lately. And people are like, Zauber ball, what is that? It's a brand, and I wish I had one because they're fabulous. I've used them a lot when I was working at the yarn shop because it's not down here. My half granny shawl that I was wearing last night, I actually am wearing it in the podcast I did with Andy yesterday. That's a Zauber ball, and it looks like you've changed colors a million times. They're gorgeous.
Yeah, you know who talked about Zauber balls the first time that I ever heard about them was Sarah Wright from the Love Sock Wool podcast. She mentions them, and I think you use them quite a bit.
You are right. She does mention them. She does. And I love Zauber balls. I go through phases where I want to buy every single one, like all the different colors, and there's a lot of yardage. I've made socks with them. I love them.
Well, the result is beautiful. I can't say I've ever knit with one, but every time I see something knit with one, I think I need to get my hands on one.
Yeah, and they're reasonable if I remember right. So yeah, it was free or $1. It's very long. Like if I pulled it all the way up, it would go over my head, and it just kind of drapes. It's super cozy, warm.
It looks like it.
I love cowls.
Yeah, me too. I actually need to knit more cowls, I think. I only have the one 3-color cashmere cowl by Joji Locatelli. That's the only one I have.
Yep, and I haven't worn that one yet. Yeah. I don't think, but I took it out. I'm just about a lot of my things that I've had for years right now. It's time for freshening up my scarves and cowls, and it's just time for freshening.
All right. Well, do we want to get into the knitting?
I think we do because you have lots of finished objects.
Okay, well then I'm going to start off by showing some of my finished objects. These finished objects have been a direct result of the knit along that we are co-hosting with Lone Larch and Marsha. And it is called Project Whip, and we do finally have threads open in our Ravelry group. Finally, I am so sorry to everybody that has been asking me about them. It was one of those things that just totally fell off my radar and I just kept forgetting about. But they're open now. So if you are partaking in the knit along, make sure you go and chit chat about all your works in progress, and then post all of your finished objects, one picture of each finished object in the finished object thread. We are pulling prizes for both threads.
Yes, and did you go over and look if Marsha and Jenny did the same or how they're running it?
I didn't look.
Okay, it doesn't really matter, but the bottom line is post in every single thing that you see.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Like if you post in ours, post in theirs. And
yep, you don't have to pick one. You can
post in them all. So you really have 3 chances to really, it's such a win-win because a finished object is a win.
Yeah. We've got some good prizes. We still haven't decided totally 100% what they're going to be, but we have good ideas and they're going to be definitely worth winning.
We do, because we have been sent things and we haven't done anything in a while where we can use them as prizes, and we're not good at arbitrarily just putting up threads for prizes for no knit alongs, which we should get better at. But so yeah, by next time we will have organized what they are going to be exactly. But what I'm thinking of is great.
Yes. So we're very excited to be, and it's fun too, because it's a great way to start the new year. You're going to be getting something really fun to tuck away for your 2017 projects and whatever. So yes, Project Whip. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I finally have finished my worsted boxy sweater. And it's very hard to get a full picture of it because it is a very big sweater. But I knit this out of Malabrigo Rios in the teal feather colorway. And it is awesome. I had so much fun knitting it. It was one of those things where I had it probably like 65% finished, and then it just languished, and I just couldn't, I don't know. I have a thing. You know, we all know I have a thing. You have a thing.
You do, but you don't. You really are quite impressive that you just, Because those were two sweaters that my personality at your age would have never picked up again.
Well, and that was what I was afraid of because I was getting dangerously close to that point, and but
Not for lack of not loving them, just for lack of, yeah, I'll get to it.
right, exactly. So I definitely have to attribute this bind off to Marsha. She's a genius for thinking of this knit along.
Can I tell you how much, like, I have always called her Marsha, and I say it with a smile every time. I can't tell you how much I love that that's caught on, and a lot of people call her that. And I'm so sorry, Marsha, but I can't stop.
We love it.
Okay.
Great. So yes, I know. I love that Marsha has caught on as well because every time I hear it, I think of Marsha Brady with the huge nose after the football's been thrown. Not because Marsha looks like that, because she doesn't. She's beautiful, but
all.
No, not at all. But
there's something about when I hear it, I don't ever hear Marsha as one word. It's three. Sorry. I love you.
Yeah. So yeah, she was the genius behind this knit along, and I am so excited to finally have a sweater that I knit for myself ready. The only thing I do have to do is block it. So Mom and I already talked, and she's going to bring up her blocking board and some T-pins this weekend. So hopefully I'll be able to kind of just block it very lightly because it doesn't need a lot. Mostly the bottom is what I'm looking to do because it does have a smaller ribbing section, so it tends to flip up a lot. I'm hoping I can get it weighted enough that it won't do that.
I didn't notice at the top that garter stitch area. Isn't that like, am I seeing it wrong? Yeah, I didn't know that was there.
Yeah, they're like stripes. So you do 2 rows of purl, 2 rows of knit. I don't know. Can you see that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have not noticed that until now.
Yeah.
Well, and let's talk about this sweater with the short sleeves because it's not really a short sleeve sweater. It has such a huge drop shoulder that they almost become long sleeves. I love that.
Yeah, me too. And it kind of falls, I would say, on me probably right about here, which I really love because I find that, when I wear oversized sweaters and I'm trying to be productive and do things, the sleeves tend to get in the way, so I'm constantly rolling them up.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the perfect in between. And if you wear a long sleeve shirt underneath it, you're still just as warm. So,
well, and it looks super cute if you have like a long sleeve tee that's really tight. And then I think it's an adorable look. And we talked about it yesterday. I think you need to wear it with leggings and socks over your leggings and duck boots. To me, that screams Chelsea Marie Stokes.
I know. I think I probably will. That sounds like something I will most definitely be wearing in the future.
It's to me, it sounds like pajamas. Like I could go to bed looking like that, minus the duck boots.
Right, of course. Yeah, so that is my very first finished object of Project Whip. And I'm very proud of it. I love it.
As you should be.
I love it. Thank you.
It's going to need so little blocking. I'm even wondering if you spray block it instead of immerse it. It's going to weigh a ton if you immerse it.
But so we talked about this yesterday. My fear is if I don't immerse it and wring it out, with Malabrigo, I've always experienced colors running, like even on my fingertips when I knit with it.
I forgot that.
Yeah, I know. I was actually thinking the same thing as you were saying it. And then I was like, oh, wait. So I really don't want it to bleed on any of my clothes because it'll keep me from wearing it if that's the case.
Part of me wants to bring up the spin dryer.
Ooh, would it fit in there?
Yeah, you'd put it around it. We're going to have such a full car.
I know. It's going to be great. We're going to move you up here 1 carload at a time.
You're like, just leave it. Just leave it. It's okay.
It's okay. You'll be back.
Oh, that is funny. Well, it's gorgeous.
Thank you. I love it. I'm very excited about it. Do you want me to show my other one? Okay, so my other work in progress, or my other finished object, is also not blocked, so it's a little bit funky with the shaping right now, but it is my featherweight cardigan by Hannah Fettig, so you can see it really needs blocking for the, what would you call this? The neckband.
Yeah, the neckband.
But once that blocks out, I think it'll be great. I knit this in Vivid Yarn Studios in their pear colorway, and then Hedgehog Fibers in their copper penny colorway. Uh, Thank you. And yeah, it's a great, both of these sweaters I would say are great first sweaters to knit. Like I'm really happy that these were the two that I chose to start with because they're very easy to, like anything new that got introduced, it's easy enough to learn. And really, I don't think anything really new did get introduced.
No, they're very manageable. But what you did learn without even knowing it is you learned how to do a top-down sweater by
Right.
doing. The other was not top-down; it's bottom-up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's top-down is a whole technique in its own. And honestly, I have top downs for me are not difficult sweaters, but I've only done 2 or 3, so it's not a natural thought process for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I don't like seaming, but I love sweaters made in pieces.
Like the final result of them?
Yes, and like what I like is say for your boxy, I would do a 3 needle bind off for the shoulders.
I did.
Pick up sleeves. I don't love knitting sleeves separate and inserting them. Not my favorite. Unless it's a kind of like what you did, a drop sleeve. So you learned subliminally, you learned so much.
Yeah, that's so true. I hadn't thought about it like that.
How to pick up that neckband, that's huge. How to pick up those sleeves, that's huge. Those are things that stop people. And you just, because it was your first, you didn't know enough to be stopped by it. You just, boom, did it.
I just kind of thought it's what you did.
Yeah, it's good. It's all good. When I was learning how to make sweaters, I felt everybody just made all the pieces and then seamed them together.
Oh.
I might not be right, but that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah. Well, the beautiful thing about the boxy patterns, whether it's worsted or her regular one, is she offers it both seamed and seamless. And you get both versions for the same price. So I, of course, did seamless because I find that to be a little more manageable mentally, like you were just saying.
It really is. It really is well, I don't mean this as a slam, but for me, it's the smartest way to make a sweater because why create more work for yourself?
Right. Once you're done knitting, you don't want to have another mountain to climb, or at least I don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
Well, and even like once I started making more sweaters, there was a time when I made a lot of sweaters, obviously not for myself because I don't have any, but I would take it upon myself to do a 3 needle bind off on the shoulders instead of binding them off and seaming them together. It's like, why would you do that when I could just have this beautifully clean seam? So, but when you're a brand new knitter, you don't assume that's allowed, or I didn't. It's like, oh no, it doesn't say to do that.
And see, I was so lucky because I have you as a role model. So because I was one-on-one with you learning for a year and a half, I kind of inherited that, like, go with the flow, whatever technique you like, go with it.
Yep. You're way better at that than me. And I see that a lot in your generation of knitters.
Mm-hmm.
You're much more adventurous. Like you just don't care. Like what is there to care about? It's really ridiculous when you think about it. And you guys just like go with it. I love that. I feel like I've learned that from you and a lot of the young podcasters.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It is definitely, I think, a generational thing. And maybe we're wrong. Maybe it's just our perception and who we watch. But
it absolutely could be, but it definitely feels that way to me. Definitely.
I agree. I definitely agree with you.
So you finished 2 whole sweaters while I did nothing.
But they were like 70% done. So really, I did half of a sweater.
Well, and I say I did nothing. I've been doing, when you do a lot, but it doesn't add up. It doesn't look like it because you're doing a little of this, a little of that. But yeah. I did finish 2 pairs of socks.
Ooh.
I think since the last time we were together.
I had to grab my
track.
What's that?
I lose track from time to time. Like, I should really do a skim of the previous podcast to see what we talked about.
That's all right.
Yeah, whatever.
For
Whatever. So I finished my scrappy socks from white. Oh, why can't I remember these?
white birch.
Look at, no, I didn't weave in my ends.
That's okay.
I love them.
They are gorgeous. And we talked about this last night. I love the way you flip-flopped the green and the purple in all of the sections.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I know I talked about this last time, but I'll reiterate in case people didn't watch. I feel like was totally off screen because I was leaning. Anyways, I didn't count rows. But I did a section. I put in 2 of the next color to come, 2 of the previous color, and then went to the next color. But no, I do not have any idea how many rows are in there. I eyeballed them. Honestly, they look pretty spot on. I just eyeballed them. I would go in with the intention of counting, and then I'd be like, 1, 2, 8. Shoot, where was I? So it takes up too much space in my brain. So I just eyeball. I love them.
They're gorgeous.
They, to me, are just happy socks.
Yes. Well, and so we talked about this last night. You did the heels, toes, and cuffs.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. So I used one of our undyed minis, and I got the heels, toes, and cuffs. Now, if I was selling, say one of our skeins of whatever, speckled and a solid for heels, toes, and cuffs, I would not feel comfortable saying you have enough for heels, toes, and cuffs because there's so many variables in there. On these, I got it. It worked. I wouldn't guarantee that. I've seen other podcasters say I didn't have enough. And so what I would say, if and when we ever go to that, which we have done things similar, I would say you have absolutely, without a worry in the world, enough for either toes and cuffs, toes and heels, heels and toes, however, all those variations. 2 spots on each sock. I made it, but it has a lot to do with your gauge, how much you did here, how deep your toe is, how deep your heel is. There's too many variables to say it with confidence so that people won't be upset. I just feel like that's important to hear because a lot of people sell them this way and I've always wondered, and that was why I thought I'll experiment. And then I finished, and then I thought, yeah, I finished, but I'm still not comfortable just saying you have enough here.
And were you playing a little bit of yarn chicken towards the end?
Absolutely, which I didn't care because I had more. Right. So I could do that without worry. I mean, I wanted to get it all out of one. That was my goal. But I just think that's good information to have because a lot of people sell them this way. And I think that's how I've always approached it. Like, I know for sure there's enough for 2 of them. So I'm not going to risk it. And I love them.
They're beautiful.
I love them. So I finished these. I have to weave in all the ends, but they're for me, so who cares?
Exactly. You need to.
Maybe I won't. Yes, I will. That would drive me crazy feeling all those things. Okay, go ahead.
I actually forgot my sock blockers over there. I think I'm going to go grab them because I think I would like to.
I love finished socks.
Me too. Okay. So my first pair of socks are going to be a lot too big for my sock blockers, but it'll give you a good idea of the pattern and how they look. I'll just do one.
I love them.
I do too. So these are the socks that is he around?
Working upstairs.
That I made for my dad for Christmas. And they're made out of Lang sock yarn, it reminds me a lot of like an opal or a regia. And I just really like the pattern, and I thought the colors would really suit him. And I knit them one at a time. The other one's right here. I just figured you only need to really see one. I knit them in magic loop, with my higher sharps, size 1 point, US 1.5s. I did a classic drop heel.
How many stitches?
I did 64.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so I figured because I do 64 for men, and then I either do 56 or 60 for me.
Funny because a lot of people do 72 for men.
Well, see, and I didn't even,
Dad does not have the ankle issue that I have. Dad has really thin ankles. Jacob, I feel, could be a 72 incher because he's definitely a bigger boned.
definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was, I just used a plain old vanilla sock pattern, and that's them.
He's going to love them. He's going to live in them. I gave up knitting socks for Dad because he doesn't wear them. And he's like, "What do you mean I don't wear them?" It's like, so you wear them watching a football game. They would look gorgeous in those shoes you have. He doesn't wear them. We're going to put money on it. Let's not talk about it with him, but
Okay.
I'm going to put money on it that he's going to live in those socks, which makes me so happy. But it is definitely like because you made them, it's going to warm his heart. I'm telling you. It
Oh,
doesn't warm his heart when I make him one. When I make him a sweater, it warms his heart.
he has higher expectations of you.
I guess that's probably like really just socks. Come on, and I think when he said something like, "Well, I love when you make me sweaters," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna because you're not wearing the socks I'm making you, but I like sweaters more."
He's just trying to be honest.
So when he really wanted a sweater one year, he kept putting them on his feet.
He's smartened up. He's not a dumb man.
He's not. He's not. We all know that.
What you should do is every day or whenever you see him wearing them go for like a month, take a picture,
I'm gonna.
and then tally him.
I'm gonna.
So
Then but.
so funny.
Oh, we love him.
Yeah, he is the best that there is.
He is.
So the second pair of socks that I finished are my Andre Sue knit sock blank socks. Here, I'll do both of these because they're both unique. They're not exactly the same like the other ones.
They're gorgeous. That had to be very hard for you to start ripping into because it was so gorgeous to look at. How well she knows you when she took that elephant and then made it into the stitched piece. And but I just knowing you and how much you love elephants, and you just the whole design on that, like that would have been hard to start pulling away at.
I know.
Cool piece is you made a full pair of socks, and that is super cool.
I'm so excited that I have this left over.
I would have such a hard time not keeping that for the rest of my life.
I know. Part of me wants to kind of like figure out a way to frame it and then hang it next to my embroidery piece that she did for me.
We totally could. We could stretch it over a piece of foam core board
Think so?
and yeah, absolutely. We can figure that out.
I would love that.
Yeah, and frame it. Honestly, I would put a little spacer bar and some glass so that it preserves it. It's beautiful.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Andy is so beyond talented. And it's just so like.
Yes. So we were talking about this because I'm starting to really understand how sock blanks really that takes my breath away.
Isn't it so pretty?
It takes my breath away. That's how perfect it is. But as far as reading a sock blank, and because I think if you're not a knitter at all, like today I had this waiting for Graham at her doctor's appointment and she was totally puzzled. Like, wait a minute. Like, and I think those, like a complete somebody that knew nothing would say, so is it going to look like that when you knit it?
Look at yours.
Oh, I was like, I thought you noticed your voice went weird. Yeah.
Wow. You've gotten so much more done since last night.
I have. So I feel like I've really learned a lot about sock blanks from the time I started working on sock blanks. Like I would just buy that and hope and pray they'd be really pretty. I would have no clue what it would look like. And having worked on this one, having worked on another one, having chatted with Andy a little about the process, and boy, what I have learned. And I'm going to show you. I had to get to the end of my row. So, what I have learned is, and I talked about this over, I think when her and I, maybe we didn't, I don't even remember, but the value in the areas that aren't perfectly solid, or the little, like, not an absolutely clean line, which is, as artists, we're always looking for that. And I'm always saying to Andy, no, 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 you don't want those clean lines.
Oh,
You want more of your, you want more character in your actual knit.
mm,
So, like, these areas are going to be gorgeous, are going to be gorgeous. And then you turn it over and you say, well, it's a little darker here and lighter there. Oh my gosh, that's what makes the sock. That's what makes the sock. So I love that I'm starting to understand, so that when I see one, like when I bought my Gales art, I always want to call it Gales Ferry because there's a city or town named Gales Ferry in Connecticut.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but my Gales art, I looked at it and I could I mean, not exactly, but I could get a feel. So, like, look at this.
It's so gorgeous. And you can see the tonal qualities where you see the darker turquoise and then the specks of white and then the specks of really deep red. And
Yep. I love it. And honestly, I think my eyes are playing tricks on me, because to me, I can see the elf legs because of this. I'm like, I see the elf legs perfectly.
it,
I'm seeing an elf in here.
yes, oh my God, it's beautiful.
And you spoke about this as far as working off of sock blanks, what it is like to have something so beautiful sitting in our laps,
Mm?
knitting off of it. And I love my favorite thing is it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, you don't need
It's
a
there.
yarn bowl. You don't need.
I
I,
love it. So I'm having a ball with it. I almost didn't start it because I'm like, I didn't start my Halloween one because I cut it close and I wanted to be knitting it during Halloween. And then I'm like, Christmas is too close. I'm going to put it aside. And then I'm like, no, I'm going to cast it on.
ugh,
I love it.
I can't get over it. It's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. I'm so happy with it. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Andy. We did a little swap.
Thank you. Well, and Andy gifted me mine, so oh my God, how
People would kill you for that blank.
I know. Please don't.
I know. Oh, that is funny. I know. I think I posted on Instagram last night. How lucky am I that I get to work on one of these?
But she is so talented, and oh my God, the final result is just so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
I was saying last night too, it's so squishy, the fabric that a sock blank makes. And you were saying maybe because it's pre-knit, like it has that extra squish factor. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it's that.
I don't know, but whatever she uses for her sock blanks is. I want like 45 pairs of these socks.
Yeah, and can I tell you, I feel like those socks are so unusual color-wise. I feel like I haven't seen another yarn like that. It's so unusual how the colors played together on that.
I love it.
All right, we're done with the Andy portion of our show.
I wanted to keep going.
I know we can. We can. Love her.
But I can't remember if I've said this already, but I knit this on DPNs. I did an eye of partridge heel. And I only did about a half an inch of ribbing at the top. I did a smaller cuff.
I feel like all of a sudden you're becoming a power knitter. You're reminding me of me at your age.
Yeah.
Like, you're a power knitter. You're like I'm knitting today.
I need to, otherwise I won't at all.
Mm.
Like I have a hard time just like part-time knitting, which is kind of like I have to because of work. But like when I'm not at work, it's the only thing I'm doing.
Yeah. Does it like for me, I never feel like it's an option. Like I was gone all morning. It's like, okay, time to knit.
Mm-hmm.
Time to knit. Like it's just my makeup. It's who I am. I can't not do it. And it's not always knitting, as you will see, but it's anything creative. I have to create every day to some extent if I'm going to be human.
Mm-hmm. I
I
totally.
used and I used to think that was really like I was really weird. I don't think it's that weird anymore.
No, I don't think so at all.
I just think it's how I'm made. I am definitely a creative soul.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that.
Anyways, I finished another pair of socks too.
See,
Okay, I feel like I'm not doing good with my eye contact because I've been knitting. Okay,
I know, me too. I feel the same way. I was hoping that you had the same issue.
I know. I'm like, oh, I gotta look up. And I don't typically look down, but I think I'm so engrossed. Okay, I can't remember. I might have showed these last week, but I don't think I finished them both. They're the Time Traveler, Felici Knit Picks. I really, really like them. I don't think I could say love with Felici because this is love. This is love. But this is a very strong like because they're really nice socks. They're really, really nice. They're great for gift giving. The Time Traveler is one of my favorite colorways so far that I've used of theirs because the lines are cleaner. There's not color sneaking into the lighter areas. And on other ones there is. And again, it's not a make or break. It's just me. It's just me. And they feel terrific. Um no, the ends aren't woven in. They're gorgeous. They really, really are gorgeous. I love them. Okay, back to love. I love them.
Love them. I love that colorway. That's my favorite Felici that I've ever seen. So I think I'm going to have to try and get my hands on some of that.
I agree with you. I think it's my favorite. I think it's the color combinations are gorgeous. What they really are gorgeous. I'm looking at them now and I'm like, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's not about the knitting. I'm talking about the colors. The colors.
The color.
But they really chose beautiful colors, beautiful values of the color. They're beautiful.
Hmm.
Yep, I dropped a stitch again. Have to pick it up.
Whatever.
Whatever. But these are a gift, so I've got to finish those little. That drives me crazy. Like, I should have them packaged and gone.
That's okay. You'll get to it.
I will. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I don't have any more finished objects yet. My goal, I think at this point, is to finish the last pair of socks that I'm working on that have been pre-existing, which are Mina Phillips Pebble socks. So this is the first one that I already have finished. And this is, what?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, this is Legacy Fiber Arts in the Winnie colorway.
That was my.
Yeah, I started them when we released the color, and it was one of those that ended up in a project bag, and I just, out of sight, out of mind. So I'm this far in in the second sock.
You're flying.
Fine. So I want to get this done, and look at my little, I started, I know, isn't it so cute?
Love it.
Justin and I just restarted the Harry Potter series from #1 because we just finished it, so we figured let's start it all over again. So I want to finish this sock, and then I want to finish my Party on My Needles, and that will be my goal. That way I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have 6 finished objects.
That's unbelievable. When you're working full time, you're skiing a day on the weekend, you're keeping up with life. That's what I mean about you. I feel like you've become a power knitter.
I can definitely say I agree with you. And I've been knitting all of my ornaments.
Did you finish another one last night?
Yeah. I have to wind, but I did realize that I just finished day 7, which is what today is. So I really need to get on my game. It's so easy for them to catch up with you. Like on the weekends, I try and knit as many as I can so that I'm not like super stressed during the week. But I'm already caught up with the day, so I need to like wind and be ready for tomorrow.
I'm waiting on mine because I had to do a swap with the ones that I had, and I'm waiting for a return on something. But I'm not ready, so it works. I'd like that to be my January project, maybe to get those. And I think I am going to do a sock with each one, and it's going to be up year round in my office as a, what do you call that?
Garland.
Yeah, kind of like across these windows out here. I could go the whole length if I got crazy. And then the other one I'm going to put in my cozy memory,
Yes. Yep.
my traditional cozy memory blanket, which I'm dying to work on.
Oh, and I should say I'll show a color. Well, I've done all the ones. So, this is how much I have left after knitting a mini sock.
They're huge.
They're like you were just saying about the heels, toes, and cuffs. Like it is crazy how much yarn you get in the minis. So, yeah, we have our own little plan of what we're gonna do with these, but I just think it's nuts.
It's I love it because you're not saying, oh, like you have to make a decision. You really can make two decisions with those, depending on the size of your cozy memory.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I don't even remember the numbers on my cozy memory. Like, am I doing a 60?
Yes, you're doing 30 and 30. I'm doing 20 and 20.
And then 20 and 20 on my other one. Okay, that makes me feel better. I might work on that later. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me?
I saw Molly's picture recently that she had hers out, and I was like, oh my gosh. She is I have discovered, my ultimate enabler. And I don't know what it is about her and her projects, but every time I see something from her, I just like, it's like I'm a robot.
Yeah, you know what? That's me and you, like me with you.
Yeah.
Like, think about it, Chelsea. I was thinking about this morning, like I forgot why it came to me. I'm like, we bought the same car as you. We totally copied your car.
That's such exciting news. You have to share. You didn't share this episode.
No, so Chelsea and Justin got what is it? A Outback, a Subaru Outback, and we loved it, and we needed a 4-wheel drive, so we did the same thing.
It is the best.
We are like such copycats.
I love it though. It's so funny because I see so much of you guys in Justin and I.
Yeah.
Canny. So,
it is funny. I have to admit that too, but don't you remember when you were like, I remember when I was like this, like in high school, and it was like, she's copying me, like with clothes or whatever. And I'm thinking, she's going to be like, Justin, let's not tell them we're doing this because then they'll do it.
No. See, and I never experienced that because I never had a sister. I always had brothers. So they would never copy me. And like,
yeah.
So I've never had that piece of my personality. Like I always think it's so cool and so fun.
It just makes me laugh, but because I feel like those words have been in my head 100 years ago. Let's not tell her because then she'll just copy us. It makes me laugh. I forgot why we started going down that route, but oh, you were saying Molly.
Oh yeah, she's like my ultimate enabler. Whatever she's working on, I need to be working on.
I feel that way about you. I think with Molly, it is her aesthetic is so beautiful. And we've talked about this. For me, I'm so nostalgic when I see Molly because I had her life, like with raising the kids, and it's such a great life. And I'm sure I did a lot of screaming and hollering, and it didn't appear that way at the time. But in hindsight, it's just a beautiful life to be able to be home with your children and blah, blah, blah. I think that's what resonates the most with me. So, yeah.
Definitely. And her Vlogmas, I can't get enough. I don't know if she's updated or uploaded the newest one, but I can't get enough of her Vlogmas. I feel like I'm going to rewatch them.
I feel like I'm going to miss her.
Oh, me too. Me too.
That's the problem.
No.
And I check at least 5 times a day to see if the new one is up. Sorry, Molly. We're not really stalkers.
We sound like threats.
Crazy.
We are not crazy people, Molly. We just love you.
So funny. So yeah. So what was I going to say? She's repicked up her.
Yes. Cozy memory.
Yep. No, and her crochet blanket she repicked up too. And Danny started down the crochet rabbit hole, and it's beautiful. I would know it was Danny's if her name wasn't on it. I would know, be like, oh, Danny started one. It's beautiful. So should we segue into that?
I don't have mine because I really haven't touched it since the last time we podcasted, but I think you should absolutely show yours because it's huge and stunning.
I have worked on mine. We have opened a thread over in our group. Look at how it's folded.
Damn it. I need to work.
I know I shouldn't have it in my hands right now. I shouldn't. Because once it's in my hands, I go crazy. Yesterday, I didn't even put one row on because the day before, I didn't put it down for probably 8 hours. And my hands really, well, I mean, I took breaks. I didn't sit for 8 hours, but, oh my gosh. So the hashtag is crochet rabbit hole. And we have beautiful, I'm only going to say we have beautiful ones over there. I apologize. I have not even looked at them, but I know Andy has talked about it because her and I also discussed this over on our joint adventure. This is a little tiny piece of it, but it's all over on our Ravelry group, which I'm getting worse at Ravelry instead of better. And there will be, do post your pictures over there. There will be prizes available whenever we finish or decide to close it. And
look at that.
okay, so
it's so beautiful.
it's so big.
It's huge. It's easily 4 times the size of what I have already done.
No, I think you're about to where I started that day. Like I'm going to now move. I was in the navy blue section and then I spent all day, which I was surprised. I thought I would have had double that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see the navy blue with my marker from Barbara?
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
So I'm going to move that now because I'm going to forget. I love working on this. And I really want to finish it this winter because it will not be a summer project. It will be way too hot. It's already where I can put it on my lap and go, and when I'm sitting, it'll go halfway down my calves.
Do you know how big you want it to be at the end?
I would say I like the thought of 7 feet.
Okay.
I don't know why. I like a blanket that I can pull up way high and still have it covering my feet. So that will be the test. Let's say I'm only 5'4", so 7 feet should be more than enough.
You can
no, I was just going to say, and then let's say no one else is using the blanket but me. I should have made it king size.
For your bed?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But no, that would have been so difficult.
It would have. Well, have you tried putting it on the bed? How much more would you have had to chain on?
I would say I would have had to do another 18 inches.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And you know what? I feel like I really think I'm going to keep it in my office. Like as a cozy, like when I'm sitting here and I love my office. I live in my office. I never leave this room. Why do we have a house with other rooms?
There's no need.
No, office, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom is all I need. But anyway, so I'm really selfish with things like this.
Should be.
I am.
Those are all like memories. Remember, okay, so last night I mentioned I thought it would be cool if at the end of every year, because the granny stripe blanket tends to work up so quickly, if you kept all of your scraps from that year's sock knitting or whatever knitting and made a blanket every year at the end of every year.
I really like that. The problem is I'm going to need them this year.
Need what?
My minis. Maybe, you know what? Maybe maybe I will. Just my socks. I'll wind up the ends and throw them in the jar. And I'm going to learn the magic ball. I'm not using the magic ball for this, or magic knot ball. The only reason I'm not is because I started a certain way and there is a piece of me, my symmetrical being, it would make me dizzy. It would just throw off. I would struggle working on it because it wouldn't feel right. So the next one, I am going to use a magic knot. There is beyond a doubt going to be at least one next one, if not 5.
Yeah.
I can't imagine not having one to work on every winter.
It's so fun, and it's so nice to just like, if you feel like your knitting mojo isn't where it should be, to pick up a crochet hook and just know that you're going to be able to just still have the yarn in your hands. And
Can I tell you though? This is what drives me crazy about crochet. Oh, phew. I lose my hook constantly.
me too.
What I'm going to do is when I come up this weekend, when we go to, do they have this brand? Okay, help me remember that. When we go see Kelly and Angela at Must Love Yarn,
Well,
I'm getting another one.
I think you should. And also Carol is there too. There's 3.
Carol is the one I initially met, I feel like. I don't think Angela was there. I think it was Carol and Kelly.
Yep, because Angela was out having her baby.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to see them.
Oh, me
I
too.
cannot wait. Which reminds me, I did not even Periscope today because I was gone all morning.
Hopefully this will make up for it.
What's that?
Hopefully this will make up for it.
Make up for it.
Which reminds me, I do have a little bit of stash enhancement that I would like to share from Must Love Yarn, because we walked in there, Justin was dying for new needles, so we went and got some, and you have to peruse when you're in a yarn store. You can't just walk in and walk out.
That is gorgeous. What is it?
This is Fiber Stash Dye Works, which we actually met the owner. Oh, her name is escaping me at the moment, but we met her at the CT Sheep and Wool Festival. And she, Must Love Yarn carries so much of her yarn. So that's always the first place I stop, is at her wall. And this one jumped out at me because I hadn't seen it before. And I just loved it. It's Princess Mandy is the colorway. And I guess this skein was named after a local knitter that like loves Fiber Stash and is just a huge fan of pink. And so it ended up being named after her. But it's just...
I'm a huge fan of pink myself, and that is so not what I would think.
It is such... I feel like because it has so much dimension to it, because it's not just pink. There's yellow, and there's purple, and there's the natural that comes through.
It's perfect.
Isn't it gorgeous? I'm so excited. I'm not casting anything on right now until after the new year. But this...
What do you think it's going to be?
What's that?
What do you think it'll be?
Socks.
Yeah. Okay, so Ben, of course, owes me like a lot of presents.
No,
So he's like, so what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, Christmas? What about Mother's Day?
be your birthday.
Just kidding. And yeah, birthday, both the boys. They're the worst. And I make them buy me gifts. I hold them to it.
I try to help them out, and they just...
Well, so Ben was like, yeah, what do you want? I said, talk to Chelsea. She'll know exactly. Put that on the list. Anything Fiber Stash, because I love their yarns.
Perfect. I actually have a couple of ideas that I can give to him, so
Yeah, you might want to give Jacob some too.
I can do that.
Just saying.
The problem is he'll need me to execute for him. Both of them.
Get the money up front. That's what I say.
So weak-willed. I love them both so much. I'm like, keep your money. I'll just buy it.
No.
I know. I know. I won't do it anymore.
No, money up front.
Money up front.
So anyways, oh my gosh, that is gorgeous.
Beautiful. I couldn't walk away. I looked at Justin and I was like, do you mind if I buy a skein of yarn? And you know him. He loves yarn just as much as I do. He was like, no, you can.
I know. That's so...
And then...
It's hard when you've got 2 knitters.
Yeah. Well, and then he promptly turned around and found a skein for himself.
I know. Oh my gosh. So I have no acquisitions. I do have, I'll show quick. I won't go into great detail because on Andy's podcast, we talked in great detail, but we are doing a sweater spin together and we're super excited. I will share it here. I feel like we really share the same audience, but just in case we don't, so people know about it. So I took to dyeing some merino top that I ordered. And so I dyed it, and now we're in the process of spinning it. I am in the process of spinning mine. She's working on bats that she prepared, which it's worth going over to watch just to see how she prepares a bat, because I could put that on a loop and watch it over and over again.
It is so like, you know how they have those Zen gardens where you can like rake sand. That's how I feel when I'm watching it. Like just totally just zenned out.
I am so tempted to get a blending board, which is a step before a drum carder. And I went back and watched one of her early episodes about a blending board, and it was the same kind of thing, even more. You should watch it.
Yeah.
So I kind of am thinking about getting a blending board. I may ask that for Christmas from Dad because they're a little pricey. I so want to be a spinner, like a real, spend a lot of time spinning, but I love knitting. I can't, and I love stitching, and I have a huge stitching project starting very soon, which I cannot wait for. It's not really that huge, but it's a commitment again. So anyways, I took and I dyed, and you can go over there and I go into great detail about it, but this is what I dyed.
I love it so much.
I love it. Okay. So it just fell on the floor. Then I forgot I wanted to show this and I put it back on. You know, it's funny when I used to watch podcasts and people would take bobbins off their spinning wheel, or they'd say, "Oh, it's on my wheel. I don't want to take it off." And I was like, "Why aren't they taking it off? What's the big deal?" It's a pain. There's something about it. It's not even, it takes 2 seconds, but I look at it and go, "Oh, it's on my wheel." Weird. It's weird. So anyways, I am going to take it off because I do want to share it. And I think the main point I want to make is my desire for next year's crochet blanket is hand spun. That's my bigger desire. And I've got all these, which I'm going to order more because these I'm spinning on my spindle. I might have to bring these this weekend.
Those, oh my gosh. I could just look at them for hours.
If you don't follow Sit and Spins, I think her name is Heather. Oh, I'm so sorry. I love her. On Instagram, she shows these spun up. She's an amazing spinner. Amazing. I'm in awe of her. And so these are going to be for my spindle spin, but I want another bag or two to spin on here and then make into a blanket.
Yep. I
kind of am obsessed with spinning, and I think I'm frustrated because of the time and the not being transportable for me. Because I really want to be a more serious spinner, but yet it's the last thing I do. You know that.
I do.
It's the last thing I do. But I'm super happy with the spin. And the thing that I'm frustrated with is I think if I spun a lot, I'd be a super good spinner.
You are.
I'm a decent spinner, I would say. Like, I'm proud of my spinning. I'm sure it's far from like amazing. Like when I look at, oh gosh, I hope her name is Heather. I'm so sorry. Of Sit and Spins, and I hope it's Sit and Spins. Anyways, when I look at her spinning, I'm like, that's how I want to be a spinner. Like so anyways, that's my frustration. I think if I got to spin a lot, how weird is it that these are so close?
I didn't even notice that. That is
I notice it every time I start working on these. So I don't even think Andy noticed that when I was showing her. So anyways, I don't know why I started even talking about this. But anyways, this is my spinning. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love dyeing the fiber. I think we are going to start being fiber dyers along with yarn dyers. I would love to every update maybe have, I don't know, 5 to 10 braids of the same colorways, but as fiber. I have to find a wholesaler that I can get them from. It's in the plans for the new year right now, I think.
I think so too.
I think so. It's so fun to do. I really enjoyed it, and I have had people asking me like, "Oh, I want sweater weather in the fiber form," and I was like, "Oh, I know nothing." But it's so similar in so many ways. So anyways,
so cool.
That's that. But you can definitely see more of the adventure over on Andy's channel.
Yes. Yep. Definitely.
So what do we have coming up in the new year?
So we have a knit along. It's called the Cold Shoulder Cowl, and we're co-hosting it with Jamie of Beautiful Mess Yarnworks, which actually I forgot to even mention what I'm working on.
Yes.
I'm working on my Christmas socks, and I'm using a skein of her yarn called in the Silver Bells colorway that she gifted to me, which I am obsessed with.
So pretty.
I love it because it's very subtle, you know. And so I'm knitting it on 9-inch circulars. This is the first pair of socks that I've ever knit on 9-inch circulars, so you can kind of see how the colorway is knitting up, which I love.
And are you enjoying the 9-inchers?
I am. I am because there's no getting to the end of the row. There's no moving needles around. It's just like the easiest form. And so I knit my featherweight sleeves with 9-inchers.
Forgot.
And I loved it then. And then when we were at Rhinebeck, Amy of the Periscoping Sisters showed me how to do the heel. And I hope I remember how to do it. But she made that fear go away because I was always so nervous to attack this because I didn't understand how a heel would work. And she kind of put my worries to rest. And now I'm very excited to be knitting my very first sock on 9-inch circulars.
And since last night we recorded and Chelsea talked about her 9-inch circulars, I had to run and go get mine.
I love it. And so how do you feel about them?
I'm not hooked completely, but I did do this much, so you'd think I would be. And I dropped the heel. I can't remember if I did it with the 9-inch. I must have. It's all about hands.
Yep.
Like I think I like them. I think I'm going to I want to say mine are Chowgoos.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to try a pair of Hayahayas. I think I'm going to get some more. You know why I love Hayahayas? You really can buy a bunch.
Oh,
Because their price,
it's amazing.
I am used to buying when I worked at the frame shop and before a frame shop, yarn shop. Before that, I was an Addy Turbo lace. That's all I would buy. No two ways about it. I didn't care if they cost me a fortune. I have a drawer full I can't stand anymore. How weird is that? A lot to do with the cords. And now when I buy Hayahayas, I buy them 2 at a time and I still don't spend as much as one pair.
Yep. So I got my 9-inchers at Must Love Yarn, and I think they were $8.
That's unheard of.
$8, spending less than $10 on a pair of needles.
A pair of amazing needles. You are not compromising anything.
Nope.
Anything. Oh dear, this is why I don't like 9-inches. I just dropped a stitch.
Oh, no.
I got it. Don't worry. But it is about how you hold them. Like, it's a lot of fingers, not whole hands.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, if my hands were any bigger than they are, and I think I have pretty average size hands, I would say you have small hands.
I have very small well, I have very long fingers, but very like thin. Like my ring is a size 5.5 or a 5 maybe. So like I have very thin.
Yeah, but having long fingers would come into play as being.
Yeah, it hasn't really affected me too much, but I also don't hold on to the needles too much. Like more so like see how here I'm holding on to like the knitting itself.
That's exactly it. Like it's funny because I knew last night when you said that I was like I've got some, and then I said to you I might pull these back. I don't think I even like them. These are gorgeous.
Yeah, they are.
It's I'm not even saying like wow. It's the feel. I think it's the blueberry waffle. It is so squishy, and this is Sarah Sanderson when we first started dyeing, and I'm loving them.
They're gorgeous.
I know, like I needed that distraction in my life. Sorry. It's so bad. It is so bad, not in a bad, but it's just crazy how much I have going on in this little space.
It's good. It's a good thing.
So let's talk about the cowl because I have to show.
Yes. So the whole reason I started talking about my Christmas socks is because we are co-hosting the cowl, the cold shoulder cowl. It's a shawl knit along. It's any pattern you want, any yarn you want. It just has to be a new cast on. And we are starting January 1st. I can't remember what the end date is, but I'll reach out to Jamie and find out. And yeah, so as you're clearing off your needles from Project Whip, start planning for a shawl. If you guys have like had a shawl pattern in mind that you just haven't had an excuse to start, this is a great opportunity to do it and win prizes. So yeah, so Mom has picked out the most incredible pattern that she is going to attempt, which
I have, and going to attempt is the complete right way of presenting it. I have had no desire to knit a shawl in a very long time. I have a lot of shawls. I can't even say I'm like loving wearing them right now. I'm just kind of in a blah shawl mood, and I know that will change. So originally I was like, I'm going to do the void shawl because I really love the void shawl. I want the void shawl. I want the weight of it. I want to wear it under my jacket. I still feel that way. But then this literally popped into my head. Sorry, that was not okay. And it hit me because you know how many times I've been really, I would say, whining about how I no longer know how to do brioche. And I'm mad at myself about the fact that I have a beautiful brioche shawl that Mina had asked us to test knit, and I mastered it, and I mastered it well. And if someone had a gun to my head right now, I don't know how to do brioche. That's pathetic.
not pathetic. It's hard. Brioche is hard if you don't keep it up. That is one thing I've noticed is all of the prolific brioche knitters that I follow on Instagram never stop knitting brioche.
And that's going to be my goal if I can do this. So then all of a sudden I remembered Candace of Pin Feathers and Pearls. She was making this gorgeous brioche shawl. And I said to Chels, what was that shawl? And it's the Sizzle Pop. Because you thought it was Pop Fizzle. Pop or Pop Sizzle. That's a hat. There's three different pop things. So anyways, got the Sizzle Pop. I love it. I love it. I love it. Honestly, like I talked about this with Andy, like when something like is hard or new, like I can feel it. Like as I looked at it, I was like, oh. The directions look fabulous. Fabulous. So it's not going to have anything to do with that. It's just I'm not good at reading directions. Like I'll start on page 1, read page 7, back to 2, over to 5, back to 4, ending with 3.
I do the same thing. I'm with you.
Yeah. There's something really wrong with my brain. I'm pretty sure about it, but it's how it works. I am going to try to make this. And I'm really, the thing that I love is she refers to websites. These look fantastic. I've never made anything by Leslie Ann Robinson, who is Knit Graffiti. Is that correct? And I have got to make sure. I assume I follow her on Instagram, but I'm afraid I might not, which means I need to.
She's a great account.
Yeah, I feel like there's no way I don't, but I have got to double check that.
Mm-hmm.
There's charts that just make my head hurt. And it's only, again, because it's, although look at these great, I'm not going to show close, but great pictures.
She's one of the all-stars. I will definitely say that.
There's a chart I'll show really quick. So yeah, if I can just quiet my brain and stay focused, I know I can do it. I know everyone right now is screaming at me like, Sue, you've got this. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard. Thank you for thinking that, whoever that is. I plan on relying on Candace a little when I need to. I'm super excited.
Yeah. If you guys are looking for like a live example, go to Candace's Ravelry project page because she's so good at photographing her yarn too, or her knits.
Project.
Yeah. I'm 99% sure she has a project page for it and hers came out beautifully.
beautiful, and she didn't say it was hard. And I remember watching her do it thinking, wow, 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 wow. Like,
She is so good at she's such a good knitter.
she's such a good knitter, but she reminds me of you, that patient, like I feel like you would buy this and go, I'm gonna make this. I buy it and go, oh, like, I don't know. I don't know about this. So anyways, it has on it, and I was telling Chelsea last night because PayPal didn't process it fast enough. I thought I did something wrong. So I bought it twice. And I don't have a problem with that because this pattern being designed should have started at $12. The intensity of this design. And I have such respect for amazing designers and how little money they make because I used to do it for a living in another form. So anyways, so I'm going to bring you your copy. So you'll have one.
So excited.
It's a square version or a triangle. I picked the triangle. I'm wondering if the square would have been easier.
It probably would have just been less decreases.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I couldn't figure out how a square would be a shawl.
I can't either.
I thought it might be more blanket like, but again, I'm speaking out of turn. So I'm going to show you originally what I pulled out last night when Chelsea started and I started. And I think the decision has been made, but I still will share it. So this is going to be the leaf part, the standout color.
Yep.
And it's the same color as it's Rusty Nail.
Penny.
Oh, this is Rusty Nail, so maybe it's not the same.
Oh, mine was Copper Penny.
Oh, Rusty Nail, different then. I love this color. So I pulled out a couple from my stash, which is over there, which is hysterical because to call that a stash is like a hiccup. But I love it. I'm not a stash girl. We've talked about it a lot. I'm not a stash girl. When I buy something, it's with the intent of making something. The only thing I buy as stash is mostly fingering for socks. And yeah, I don't know. It's just never been my thing. As much as I'd like to, I always felt that I don't know. It just felt weird. I couldn't do it. Anyways, so this is Black Trillium, super happy fun. So I was going with that for a while because I was picking up the oranges, but it wasn't like, wow, yeah, that's it. And let's face it, if I'm going to make that,
it needs to be it.
It needs to be, wow, that's it. And this, having said that, I think this is adorable. I think I'm going to make some socks. It looks really, really just funky fun. I'd also make a little girl sweater out of this, like a baby sweater.
Yes.
Or boys, but I see more girl for me for that.
Yeah.
But then I had, oh my goodness, this skein I've been coveting because I don't know how much dyeing she's doing anymore. I know she dyed for a time, but our dear friend Carrie of Freckled Winsby, when we first started podcasting, she sent us each a skein of yarn, a bag, and then 2 bags for giveaways, I think. It was beyond generous. Just the fact that she knew who we were was amazing. Like, I've followed Carrie forever. And then when she asked us to do that collaboration, I near fainted. Carrie, we love you. Can't believe she's rigid, heddle looming.
I know.
I've had one for 10 years that's brand new, never been used. I know, shameful. Anyways, I have not used this. I've looked at it. I've just been savoring it because again, it's so pretty. I don't know how much dyeing she's doing, so it's hard, but
I can't even. It's so perfect.
I think it is perfect. There's some great orange in there, but let's face it, we don't want a lot of orange because then we're going to lose that definition. So we want something that complements it. So I think this is going to be it.
You need to cake.
I think I'm going to cake it up and bring it with me. I'm going to basically bring my whole office with me, and we're going to be there for a day and a half.
That's okay. We can make the best of it.
What can we possibly get done in a day and a half?
Challenge accepted.
Right. I agree. I agree. Okay, so I think this is it. I don't think I have any number 4 hayas because I can't find them anywhere. I've got my interchangeables are all over the place. I don't know where. It's simple.
We'll just get you some when you come up. There's
That's
plenty.
what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. I should be making lists. I'm gonna get there and be like a deer in headlight. You know that's how I am.
No, it's okay. I remember you want a crochet hook, you want some 9 inchers, and you need size 4s with a 32-inch cord,
40.
40-inch cord. We're good.
I'm relying on you.
I've got your list.
Okay. So this is going to be, so now I was kind of thinking I was going to leave you holding the bag again, like I did with the whip cowl.
Oh, yeah.
Like Chelsea will hold up our end of the bargain. And I thought with the shawl it might happen the same way because I thought I'm just not into shawls right now yet. I was happy to do this cowl with her. I was happy Chelsea would do this cowl with her. I'm going to hold up my end.
You're going to put me to shame.
I don't know. I'm nervous. Well, no, let's just be honest. I'm nervous.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I know. I should be nervous about more important things.
Yeah. I mean, if that's all you have to be nervous about, then that's a good thing.
That's a good thing, right? So there. So I'm going to cake this up. I'm probably going to start before the start date because I don't really count anyways. And I would love people to see it. And I would love to be able to say it is not at all difficult if they're willing to take the challenge.
I say yes.
I'm excited.
I love it. I'm so excited to see how you do it.
I am too. I'm getting really excited about the new year.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. We'll be back at the Dye Pots in January. We've got some great collaborations coming up. We've got a great one with Carrie again.
Yep.
Around Valentine's Day, which is something I've got to get my head in gear for, and I'm really excited about it.
We have another one with Shauna of Adelaide's Cottage too.
Adelaide's Cottage around Easter time, and we had another person come up to us and ask us, and we're going to see where that one fits in. We are going to be bringing some of our Advent minis to life as real colorways, not the final one. That was only for those of you who participated. We've produced a Rory and a Lorelei. That was a giveaway over at Sarah the Knitting Type, which may be the start of our Gilmore. We've got a lot of work to do. I'm tired.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
It's super exciting. I think we're going to go with some more, doing more everyday colors as opposed to a themed, because, you know, the holidays are over. I love doing the themed for the holidays. It was super fun picking those movies, but I'd like to start getting a day-to-day line going.
Kind of a standard collection.
Yes, a standard collection. We're going to do some tonals to go with them. Gosh, I've got a lot of work to do, and you've got a lot of work to do. And we're going to start dyeing fiber, and we're going to stop sleeping.
Yes, sleep is so overrated. Coffee is the way of the future.
Way of the future.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming up.
A lot of fun stuff coming up. It's been nice taking the month really off after the big mini skein, 25 skeins of Christmas ordeal. That was fabulous, and thank you all that have bought them and are sharing pictures on Instagram of them and are enjoying them.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah. All right, we will be back before Christmas.
Yes, these are Mom's little Charlie Brown.
I hope you guys are catching me every once in a while over on Periscope.
I can't wait to be home so that I can play that over and over and over again.
Well, there's 2 more on the side over there. I can't hold 5 at a time, but I start and stop my Periscopes every day with these. They just bring a smile to my face, and I know everyone that's watching them is, you can't help it. You can't help it.
I know. I know.
And so because they're just sitting over there, every once in a while I just hit one.
Just for good measure.
Each one plays a different song.
Yeah. They're the best. But we should throw a disclaimer out there that they are no longer available.
No longer available. And by what I heard from a friend who wanted to get them for her grandchildren, actually it was Maureen. Hi Maureen, how are you? And her whole family who loves and watches us, which cracks me up. We've got to get them all to be knitters. She wanted to find them, and I think she said they're quite pricey if you can find them. So I should have them under lock and key.
No.
Never.
If someone's robbing the house, they're not going for the Charlie Brown characters.
I lock them up every night. Oh, yeah. So hopefully our goal is to be back before Christmas. Might not be super long. We'll see. Just maybe a quick happy holidays. Thank you for supporting us through this amazing year. I can't believe it's only been a year.
I know. It seems like it's been such a long time, and it really hasn't.
It hasn't. And it's such a huge piece of our life. Like, I think of my life right now, like, it's crazy. I feel like that's it.
I think we're done. I feel like it's been a great episode. It's been very exciting chatting with you guys after a couple of weeks off. And yeah, keep knitting. Pick out a shawl pattern. Get ready for the cold shoulder cowl. Start cleaning those needles off with Project Whip. Because I'll tell you, there is nothing better than seeing finished objects start to pile up.
You're inspiring me.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and not everyone celebrates Christmas, but whatever holiday you are celebrating, I believe Aileen told me Hanukkah starts on Christmas Eve this year. So again, hopefully we are going to see you all before then, even if it's just quickly. But I hope whatever holiday you celebrate, it's full of joy.
Yes, totally agree. Keep the holiday spirit up and give as much as you can and be grateful for what you have and knit. All right, so we're going to get out of here, but we will see you next time. And like we always say,
needles up.
Needles up.